friends, it's Terri Gaines, independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up. In this video tutorial, I'm going to share a card created with the Friendly Foliage Bundle. The bundle is the stamp set and dies bundled for 10% savings. If you're interested in just the stamp set, you can purchase that separately. Or if you're interested in just the dies, you can purchase them separately. If you want both of them, you can use the bundle code number and get a 10% discount. Now, this bundle is part of Stampin' Up's November 2025 online exclusives. All the details on this product are available online. If you would like a PDF flyer, or look at the PDF flyer that has all of the new product that was released November 2025. I do have that on my blog post. My blog is createwithterrigaines.com. The direct link to this blog post can be found in the text portion of this YouTube video. I'll get you right to this blog post. My goal is to share everything so you can duplicate this card. But first I want to talk about the bundle. The stamp set has 10 stamps. 4 of them are images and 6 of them are sentiments. There are 6 dies. 2 of the dies, you have 2 dies here that will cut out each one of those images, plus 2 decorative dies. And the 5th die will cut out the outside part of this image, and then the 6th die will cut out the inside. So you can stamp that image and just cut out the outside of it. You can stamp that image and just cut out the window part of the image. I'm going to actually use both of them together. So I'm going to show you how I use those. So I have a lot of the work already done, and I'm going to give you all the details as I mentioned so you can duplicate it, including the measurements. So my card base is basic white. It is 8.5 by 5.5. I scored it at 4 1/4 already. And I'm going to fold it and use my bone folder to crease that. So that's the card base. It's going to open up, or the fold is going to be on the left side. My next layer is Secret C, and that layer is 3 3/4 by 5. And then I have a basic white layer that's 3 1/4 by 4.5. What I did ahead of time is I texturized this with the exposed brick 3D embossing folder. This embossing folder is one of my favorites. For an embossing folder, you place your cardstock in the folder, close it, use the appropriate stack up on your platform and with your die cutting machine and run that through, and it's going to texturize it. The reason I love this exposed brick, it's a subtle image and it's very versatile. It's going to go with so many different projects. I'm going to adhere these all together. I like starting with the smallest layer first, put my adhesive on that, and then I like looking at opposite corners to the next layer. And if I look at opposite corners, I can really visually see all 4 sides of the project, and then I can place that down and burnish that. And I'm going to put my adhesive on the back side of this piece, and then look at all sides of or both corners. And if I look at both corners, and I'm going to kind of go on my tippy toes so I can see a better view. I don't want to put my head under the camera. I think I'm good there. And that is going to be the base of my card. So we've talked about the first 3 measurements. This measurement here is 4 1/4 by 5. I'm sorry, 4 1/4 by 4.5. Now I cut this the very same size as Stampin' Up's foam adhesive sheets. Stampin' Up sells these foam adhesive sheets. There's 6 in a package, and I cut this cardstock the very same size as that. A foam adhesive sheet is basically just what it sounds like. It's a foam sheet, and it has adhesive on both sides. And what I'm going to do is stamp this, attach it to one side of this, and then die cut my image. Now, I already know, because I made these cards for a swap, that I can get 2 images on here. So that's what I'm going to do. So let me stamp that first. So I have my Secret C ink pad here. So I'm going to open that up. And then with your stamps, we just want ink on the surface. Now we have thin images, the lines, and then we've got the solid leaf images. So I'm making contact and tapping. I am trying to get the ink just on the surface. So what I'm going to do is just tap it a little bit more. That gives me a better coverage. These pads are raised. Now, if I was to push down, my ink's going to get in the crevices. I don't need it there. I just need it on the surface. I also know from doing this already, I'm going to see if I can move it closer to me a little bit. I'm going to stamp. I'll show you how I stamp this and then I'll explain it. I mentioned that I can get 2 out of this, and that's what I was able to do before. Let's see if I can do it today once I hit record. Sometimes you hit record and things just don't go as smoothly as before. Now I'm holding solid, excuse me, I'm pushing pressure down on here. I'm trying not to rock it, but I need time for the ink to absorb into the cardstock, and I think I did pretty good. So if I rotate it and stamp again, I should be able to fit it in there and not touch that other image. I'm going to share with you what you want to make sure. I'm going to do this first, then I'll show you a couple things that are going to be helpful if you want to duplicate this card. So I'm going to make sure I stay on the cardstock. I'm not crossing over on those images. And now if you only wanted to make one of these, you could cut your cardstock and you could cut this too to be the same size and save the other smaller piece. So I think it absorbed. I think that turned out perfect. Can you see how it all fit in there? I have some white space, and I'm going to close this up and move my stamp just a little bit out of the way here. And I'll clean that after the video. So now what I have here are my 2 images. Now the one thing I want to let you know, these 2 greenery pieces that are closer together, put those on the edge. If I would have put this end on the edge, then these here 2 pieces would not have crisscrossed like this. So if you can envision what I'm trying to tell you here, this needed to be to the edge of the cardstock. If this was to the edge of the cardstock and these were intersecting in the center, it would not have worked out so well. So that's one of the tips I wanted to share with you. But as I mentioned, if you wanted to just cut one, measure that, cut your paper, and then cut this the same size. So now what I'm going to do is bring in my Simply scoring tool. I'm going to use that for an alignment. I love this for the purpose of scoring, but also it has 2 walls here that help with alignment. You can pick one side of this and peel the backing off. It's identical on both sides, doesn't matter. Keep the other backing on it. I'm just flexing it this way, and the reason I do that is that way these corners don't roll up. I want them to roll down a little bit. So when I place it in the corner, I have more wall space. Why I'm going to do that is I'm going to hold this in the corner. I'm going to just turn it a little bit here. I'm going to hold that in the corner, and you can see that's popping up a little bit. It's okay. I'm just going to flex it down a little bit. I'm going to hold that in the corner. I'm going to put this up against the wall here without touching the adhesive, up against the wall on the other side, and bring that down like so. Now I have cardstock here that's stamped. I have my foam adhesive, and then if you peel this back, you have adhesive. We want to keep that on. We don't want to take that off until you're ready to put it on your project. So I'm going to put that aside. Now, the first time I used this, I thought I needed a special setup for my die cutting machine. You do not. Use the very same that you would if you're die cutting any type, your cardstock or your designer series paper. So platform 1, platform 2, a clear plate. We're going to put this down, and then you're going to put your dies down, and then your clear plate. The one thing I would highly suggest is you hold these in place with some Post-it notes. Now, I like using these transparent sticky notes. They're like a Post-it note. I get these at the Dollar Tree. And what I do, they're just the same size as a Post-it note. I take just a few sheets, and if I don't need the full sheet, I just cut in with my scissors and cut 4 tabs. So I cut into I think 3 or 4 sheets here. Now, if I cut in like that, I can just take that tab and tear it. This part is sticky. I only need a portion of it to be sticky. And now what I'm going to do is look for equal spacing around everything. I'm going to try to make sure I got equal spacing there. I'm going to put this down to hold that into place. I'm going to grab another one. A lot of times I'm working with this just with one hand. That's why I like to cut these tabs. And then I can just tear that. And one hand because I'm holding this down. Now I'm going to set this down. And I'm going to try to see if I can get this equal spacing all the way around. And I think you got a good view of it, maybe a little bit better view of it than I do. I'm going to say that's good. Now I'm going to tear off some more. Now I'm going to put this down to hold this in place. Now, I might be overkill on putting this down, but I just don't want it to shift. And so I have that in place like this. I'm going to turn it a little bit so it kind of goes in on an angle. I would not want to put this end in straight. You kind of would like to put your dies in on an angle. It's less, it just goes smoother through your machine. So now I'm going to put this piece down, and now we have our sandwich done. I'm going to bring in the die cutting machine and open this up and bring my plate platform here and get this sandwich in here. And let's see, did everything shift? I feel like it shifted on me. Why would it have shifted on me? Let me just make sure that, I think this plate, I'm going to take a real good look at this. So I apologize, but I just want to make sure. I think I'm good with the outside one. Just feel that this inside one. So let's start over. Goodness, my videos are unedited. I'm not going to edit this out. So now I can see that I'm going to just start at the beginning. Let's make sure this is squared up. Maybe I'll put one more window or transparent sticky sheet there, or post-it note. I think we're going to be good here. And then I'm going to put this down. So this is where I do want to make sure that I do get it fairly good here, because if it shifts, then you don't have your equal white space. You know exactly, if you've die cut anything, you know exactly what's going to happen. Let's see. I'm going to say, let's just go with that. Okay. Now I'm going to put this on this platform here. Oh, goodness. Okay. You can't see it, but it's on this platform. And I want to make sure it doesn't go in. I'm going to put it in like this. And just in case, I'm going to cut these pieces off that are going off the platform, just so it doesn't pull anything. And let's give this a try. Cross our fingers. When I say cross our fingers, just that it doesn't shift and doesn't cut unevenly. I'm going to be good with that. I did go through once. I am going to back it up. I just went through enough to cut it, and then I'm going to back it up. And when you look at the back, you can see it's all cut and the alignment is good. Just wanted to make sure it's good. And take that extra time to make sure those post-it notes were holding it down. Now, as I mentioned, you can cut the other one. I'll do that after I'm done recording this tutorial, because this tutorial is for you to make the card. And I'm preparing product to make the card 2 times. And I just wanted you to know that if you wanted to make the card twice, you could fit that in here. So you can see that die cut through everything. And then you take this piece off. You do want to clean these excess pieces out before you put that away. I'll do that later. And then we have these. So when you push these out, you're going to get your open window. And I just love how this turned out. So what I'm going to do, I have a little trash bin here. I'm going to bring this in and clean out all of these pieces. So it's best to do it over a trash bin, because if any of this backing comes off on any of these, they're going to stick wherever they land. And so you can see I got the backing off, or the backing stayed there. So I'm just going to clean out all of these. Don't you love how this die works? And with that foam adhesive sheet, it's like you have dimensional on all of these, the entire image. So I'm going to get all of this inside out. And I just like going from the top, pushing it to the bottom, and get all of this out. We got some smaller pieces down here. These pieces are the ones that stuck in the die. And as I mentioned, I'll clean that out later. And I think this is the last one. Get that one out. Now, I like to, with the foam adhesive sheet, I like to punch those out before I peel the backing off. And you can see some of that backing just stayed right in that opening. So let's bring this back in. I think you can see what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get all of these openings clear. No backing on it. So maybe this is just a little tip. Get all those backing pieces out of these before you peel the rest of the backing out. There you go. Isn't that beautiful? Love how this turned out. So now what I'm going to do, my card, I want to make sure my fold is still here. I'm going to take this and attach it right to my card front. I'm going to look for equal spacing on right and left, equal spacing here, here, and here, and about the equal spacing there and there. And then we've got that adhesive pop up. I just love that window look. You can see through it to see the texture. You've got dimension on all of that. I just love how that turned out. Now to finish the card, I did use one of the sentiments that's in the stamp set. I stamped on a scrap piece of cardstock, the thinking of you. And then what I did was I took the stylish shape banners and I had my strip. Now I did not give you measurements of this because maybe you want something other than the sentiment that I used. And then I used this die over it just to get that stitched banner like that. Now I do need to let you know that this adhesive foam is thicker than a dimensional. So if I wanted to put this down with dimensionals, it would not stay even. So what I did was I used these side pieces here, these throwaway pieces. So for example, I took a little bit of this and I peeled the backing off and I placed it right underneath here for support. Then I took another little chunk of that and used that right over here. Let's see, get that backing off. I put that right over here. So I used that to be an even support underneath. I put some adhesive right on both of those because this is the cardstock piece. Then I took my banner and made it flush to the side here, flush here, placed it as high as I wanted it to go, and that's how I attached my sentiment. That way it's the level. As I mentioned, dimensionals are thinner, this foam sheet. So that's how I attach that. And just to add a little bit of bling, I have some of these iridescent pearls. I'm going to take those and I'm going to take my putty end of my take your pick tool. The putty end will picks up the small pearls. I usually struggle getting the bigger ones. Let me see if they work for me today. Oh, I did get one. I'm going to attach a couple of these down here. There we go. And that's how I finished off my card. I added a few embellishments. So I hope you enjoyed this video tutorial. I had some oopses in it, but you know what? If we were in person and I was doing a workshop and you were seeing me create this in person, that same thing would have happened. So as I mentioned, I have the measurements. I will have a PDF you can download that will have a picture of the finished card, the measurements, the supply list, and a link to this video tutorial so you can see how I put it together. But as any creative project, you can use any inspiration from this YouTube tutorial and then make the card however you would like. So I hope this inspired you. If you have any questions, please reach out to me. Take care and happy creating.